Are you required to co-parent with a narcissist? You trying and failing at co-parenting with a narcissistic ex? Or are you in a family court custody battle with a narcissist? Or might you be? Or might you end up there? Well, welcome to my work. I'm mother, host, author, Sur-Thriver, Grace Rolson. I have 7 books for moms in this very difficult situation. But if you are ready to stop stressing and start strategizing, and if you really want peace, I believe and I prayed that there is a third middle way, as I call it. And it doesn't mean fighting all the time or walking away and giving up completely on our kids. It's about hanging in there. And how do you hang in there? With coping strategies, with other survival strategies. You have to wonder if you are providing the pushback to the narcissist, or what's your part in the interpersonal battle, or why is he so nasty? What if the narcissist didn't have to fight you? And I teach skillful means, which stops this completely, or has the potential to stop it completely. But if you are too unsupported or too confused to advocate for yourself and your child, and you're off balance and destabilized financially and emotionally, this program is for you. Because what if you knew the tactics and the tricks and the traps of the narcissist ahead of time? What if you had actual names of strategies that you are using to hang in there for your kids while they grow up? What if you had all that? This is the Sur-Thrive strategy program where you go from stressed out to very strategic. It's made for moms, made by a mom. And it's for moms like you who are required to co-parent with a narcissist, who are in a custody battle or dealing with the high conflict of maybe going to a custody battle. It's for moms who want a path towards peace while protecting young, vulnerable children from the unrecognized narcissistic abuse, sometimes family court. Even therapists don't see narcissistic abuse as it's happening. So if you want peace, you may have to take a third middle way. And sometimes you'll be surviving, other times you can be thriving. So welcome to this program. I'm going to outline it for you in this video, and you'll have to get the program in another way to see all the strategies. So I'm hoping to give you 20 to 30 strategies that you can take to your lawyers or to your therapists or your support team to see if it might be helpful in your case. So some strategies are helpful at some times and other strategies are helpful at other times. It'll take your discernment to really know when to put one in place. And I always ran something by my lawyer. So this is my shared survivor wisdom. I'm here to educate, encourage, empower women and mothers. Learn all you can. My background is loving and leaving an alcoholic. I was with him for 15 years, and then I fought in family court for 12 years. And the knowledge of narcissists and family court battles was my power. I knew what was going to happen next because I spent 2 years studying. And not only that, I blended nonviolent communication techniques with my 12-step Al-Anon recovery program. And I found that I could maintain my sanity in the midst of the narcissist's insanity. And that is a very hard thing to do. But I had what I call a team of 10, and you'll find that in my first book for moms, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, 7 Stealth Rules to Stay Sane. Your sanity is key. You can learn, heal, and grow through this. All my books have my tips, tools, strategies, and survivor wisdom. You can read them 1 through 7. Here they are. The second one's How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win. Yes, I used family court and won some protections. Then family court, the narcissist found a better lawyer, started to fail me and my child. And so in the end, I used skillful means to get out of family court, but I did have to survive the 12-year family court custody battle. That's my third book. all the way to wisdom for ending the co-parenting war and a custody battle with a narcissist. My newest book is We Sur-Thrive to Narcissist. Believe You Can Too. It has 20 skills for dealing with a narcissistic ex that can improve the conditions. And it's all can. There's no guarantees that this will work. A lot of my strategies were done simultaneously and done for an entire year before I saw any significant improvements in behavior. And if you know anything about narcissists, they need three things: accountability, monitoring, and consequences. And I say on repeat. So welcome to this Sur-Thrive strategy program. I'm very excited to bring this to you because moms are sick of losing thousands of dollars to the legal battle where lawyers draw hard lines and pit the enemies as parents as enemies against each other, or moms are capitulating, losing self-respect, and children are getting abused and unsupervised time with a very dangerous parent, and moms feel disempowered. I do have a Get a Good Attorney guide that moms who don't have an attorney should read through it all the way before they think they can go to family court without legal representation or without legal guidance. But the key concept here is that the circumstances have nothing to do with our ability to thrive. So we are at times surviving, other times thriving. This is a combination of the two, but conditions fluctuate. And I mean, things happen to us, things happen to the narcissist, children grow up, but there's a stability in truth. And so we let our love lead us. And the first S in this program is set. What are we setting? Our priorities. So yes, there will be some sacrifices as moms who had a child with a narcissist. I didn't want to accept what conditions we had to live in for 15 years because I was college educated. I didn't want assistance programs, but I was being financially abused, legally abused, on top of post-separation abuse from the narcissist, which is what I call co-parenting abuse. And I teach a strategy for that, and it's called Label the Tactic, Name the Game. Once you can label what the narcissist is doing and you can document it numbered 1 through 20 strategically, it has the power to lose its power over you. So these strategies are very powerful, either shields or deflections, or they can become an offense. For example, you can have a leverage making strategy with a documentation strategy, and those combined can be very powerful. So many moms are on the defense, defending from false allegations, accusations, name calling, other types of narcissistic abuse, and they don't even have an offense. They're so afraid to call out the narcissist. They don't want to attack him because they instinctively know it'll be bad. The narcissist wants power, control, and dominion over the narrative. And moms are always being pushed into the defensive mode. So having an offense, creating my 3-part strategy was defense, offense, and enjoy your parenting time, something that we'll talk about in this strategy program. So just a first disclaimer, I am not a lawyer, a therapist. I'm a mom survivor. This is my shared survivor wisdom. Take what's helpful, leave the rest for another time. But I want to warn you to be careful who you take advice from, who you follow or are influenced by, who influences you, and why. Because I was influenced by women who were leading movements in family court, but their child was taken from them and they never got them back, or their child passed away from pushing the narcissist too much into the corner of the family court, or the mom won the children away from the dad completely. And I was yay. And then the dad sued the mom multiple times for defamation of character. Or I was talking to divorced women of doctors who had the money for the legal power and had already spent $200,000 on their 4 children. And that was just not my situation. And I didn't want any of their situations. So when you take advice or guidance, because my goal is to not give advice, but to offer my survivor wisdom and strategies that work for me, which may or may not work for you. When you take advice, you want to know that this person first knows narcissists and knows the legal system, because the legal system doesn't work in the same logical way common sense and logic does. For example, there's no testing for a drunk driver. There's no DUI automatic on both parties before they give a child over. And that's something like I will advocate for, and I will work on once we're totally through it. We got through 12 years of family court battle, and now we have peace and cooperation with the narcissist. My child thrives, high honors, never misses a day of school, all her therapist back, phone back, everything has been restored, even her school after the fight where she lost everything. So you got to know that who you're talking to and what their conditions are. So if you're watching someone who's always fighting in court, but you don't have the money, the energy, the time to do it, maybe that's not the way. So they always say in program, look for someone who has what you want. Do they got a healthy, happy child, well-adjusted kid? Do they have custody and parenting time? Do they live in a peaceful, sane, conflict-free life? Or are they constantly under legal attack? Look for someone's message that resonates with you. And just because they won custody, however they did it, doesn't mean they're free. It doesn't mean you can do it the way they did it. I know there's these high conflict coaches or divorce coaches that are full of what can do power and fight, but you might not have the funds for that fight. And usually the moms in these situations are at a disadvantage. So know that I'm telling you my story and the strategies I developed. This is my survivor wisdom and story medicine, which can be very healing, but what worked for me may not work for you. And just know that this is like my guidance towards strategizing and getting support systems in place. It's not advice. And, the two suggestions that I give, or the only two parts of advice that I would give, is get legal advice, multiple, not just one attorney who says what you want to hear, because lawyers can be narcissists too, and you can't be burned at both ends by two different narcissists. And the other is get support. Those are my two. Get expert support, actually, not just any support, like calling your mom or your best friend constantly who doesn't understand family court and the legal system. So welcome to Sur-Thrive. Survive means to continue to live or exist. Okay. But thrive means to grow, flourish, to gain, to prosper, to progress, to realize a goal, and despite the circumstances. So I'm combining these to mean to flourish despite adversity. And I've seen so many children of narcissists go on to be the leading authors, coaches, and therapists for children of narcissistic abuse. So it's not like narcissistic abuse in the horrible forms could totally cripple forever. Someone can overcome and transform and survive and heal. So I have seen survivors of narcissistic abuse. You might be one of them, but this concept is about going beyond simply surviving a difficult situation like the narcissistic abuse and trauma and hardship, and thriving in the aftermath, coming out smarter and stronger than before. My tagline was heal and grow and learn. And now we're in the Sur-Thrive part of my situation. And you can do all of your surviving in spite of or because of. And, in Al-Anon program, they always say, are you grateful for the alcoholic? And a few times I got that situation where I was grateful that I had Al-Anon program of recovery and people and the 12 steps. Because without the alcoholic, I would have never found that program. And that program helped me with work and living and everything. So you can Sur-Thrive in spite of or because of the narcissist. And I'm here to show you this program in an outline. And the first one is to set. The first S means set. Sustainable, Sur-Thrival strategies. So I do not talk about beating, defeating, destroying, or annihilating the narcissist because they tend to come back. They are very retaliatory, vengeful. They don't just crawl under a rock and go away. once they're angered, they come back at you. So we have to be careful and mindful of that. The other one is to set priorities of protection and peace for children over fairness and justice. There's going to be lots of unfairness with an unfair person. And the other one is, the other S is switch it. So if you're doing something over and over that isn't working, that's one definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, but it's not working. So it might be the same lawyer. It might be always using lawyers. It might be not using a lawyer. It depends on the phase you're in, because I went through several phases. And one of them was standing up for myself, but I didn't know with who and how not to go toe to toe with the narcissist and end up as his enemy to destroy. I did things the wrong way. And here I am trying to offer you a different path. U stands for use skillful means. What is that? That is partly talking to someone at the level they understand and care about. Often us moms are exhausting ourselves trying to explain to the narcissist how this affects the child or what the child needs, and they tune you right out. They'll do the opposite, or they'll do exactly what you're asking them not to do. Skillful means you know who your audience is, and you're talking to them at the level they care about. And there's a whole guide on that, and I'll talk more about that. And U stands for understanding the power struggle and ourselves, where we're losing energy. We lose energy. We feed the narcissist our pain, fear, upset, and they come back to do more, to get more. U also stands for understanding narcissism and personality disorders. You will get disordered dealing with a personality disordered person. So you can stop being confused and upset or surprised once you understand narcissism. So we got to get like a self-education. U also stands for understand your need for support. I know you're probably a confident, smart, intelligent mother, but you're also not a lawyer or a therapist. We can't always be everything. So we have to understand our limits, understand our need for support, understand our weaknesses, and we have to shore up our weaknesses. R stands for the right support. So if you are dealing with an alcoholic, Al-Anon is specifically for friends and families of alcoholics. If you're dealing with a narcissist, you'll want a narcissistic abuse recovery program. If you're dealing with a narcissist in family court, you're going to want to listen to people who understand narcissists and how they operate in family court and why they just want to win and why they'll do anything, including lie about you at the last minute to win. So a good attorney, a DV counselor, programs of recovery, you're going to want the right emotional supports because it is emotional. I put the hyphen in here because so many of us have to remember to give ourselves some space. We have to heal from the relationship we were in, our dreams that have crashed, watching our children be neglected or abused or disappointed. Or we have to also learn to pause and detach from the narcissist trauma, chaos that they kick up. So that little break in between just means take a breath, deep breath in, deep breath out. And then after we're surviving, we're taking this breath into thriving. And the first letter is T for think. You want to think peace, be the change you want to see. Do to others what we want done to ourselves. If we think war, we often get war. We want to think positive. We want to find the good, the silver lining in this whole thing. And we want to also think we're ready. So to think ready, we have to have had all of those strategies in place. The documentation is there. The legal strategy is there. The 3-part strategy is there with the defense and the offense. So we want to be ready if the narcissist uses family court. So we do need to think about our case and spend time. H is for have hope, no matter how small. I talk about the 2% better strategy. How can you make the situation 2% better, 1% for yourself, 1% for your child, and have hope, because that 1% degree off of what's happening now, just adding love and care and maybe fun times with your child. If you see them just a little bit, they're going to become adults and they can escape the narcissist themselves. Actually, no one gets out of this life alive, so the narcissist will die someday. And that reign of terror will be over. No one lives forever here as human beings. So we got to have hope that we can make it better. And if you're in a situation where you're feeling very powerless, you can help others if you're unable to help your own case. And that's what I did for a period of time, which is why I have 7 books. So the R, regain and retain sanity. Your sanity is key. If you become someone who rants and raves and emotionally reacts and is so triggered and traumatized, it's very hard for a judge to see us as the caring, loving, stable parent. So we have to regain our stability, regain our finances, retain our sanity. And the R also stands for relaxing a bit. Us moms are on high alert. There's threats to our child. Our children are in danger, and we need time and space to relax, because that's where our best creative thinking comes in, during that relaxation time versus reaction time. So if you are in just react, it's a high stress, high cortisol situation, and our mind needs a space to clear out all of those emotions to get to clarity. The I stands for invest in yourself. And notice I didn't say put money in your child's college fund. If you need legal money for lawyers or a private investigator or something. So invest in yourself, your education. You can take parenting classes willingly, which is something I did to show a judge, your finances. And I'd say do it all secretly. You don't flaunt or brag or boast to a narcissist. They are very easily jealous. And you want to ignore some of the minor upset. The narcissist will do small things that can really upset us if we let it. So it's a choice. We don't see it. We see our reaction. We think it's all intentional, and sometimes it is. But if we can learn to ignore certain things for a period of time, they tend to go away. There is an ignore strategy that I talk about, but it's for certain things, obviously not child abuse and neglect. And V is for validate yourself. You're healing. You're doing the best you can in this terrible high stress situation. You want to validate your gut feelings and instincts. Even if you have a lawyer, you could have a bad lawyer who's giving you bad advice, which is why I say get a couple legal opinions and think about the switch it strategy. And you want to validate or vacate your expectations. So you expect a judge to understand, they don't. You expect your lawyer to do a good job, they don't. We have to live in reality, and instead of having high expectations of everyone and getting disappointed, we can check our expectations and maybe vacate some of them. Employ strategies is E. Strategies. And there'll be several working at the same time. But you want to also enjoy your kid, enjoy your parenting time, have fun, focus on the fun and your child's one and only childhood. So employ and enjoy is the last part of this, because it is very hard and it can feel like hell on earth for a mother who has their child ripped from them or sees their child be abused by the narcissist constantly. Children need a break from that. I do have a 40 ways the narcissist can abuse a child, and right from our child's mouth. Nothing that rose to the level that a therapist would even call in as a mandated reporter. Very frustrating for us moms. And that's the reality we live in today. So welcome to my Sur-Thrive strategy program. There's no guarantees or for results that any of these strategies will work. These are complex, high conflict cases with disordered individuals. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, it's a personality disorder, and you will get disorder. So that you can expect. What is skillful means? I teach this. I have an individual guide. It's in one of my books. And it's a really important skill, an idea and concept, because it changes who you are. And when you change who you are to the narcissist, it can change how the narcissist reacts. I have a 20 wants list strategy, one of my biggest power tools. Moms don't ask for things. It tells you why you want to ask for certain things. even if you don't really want to ask for certain things. It's a power tool. I have a document the narcissist strategically instead of everything until you're in overwhelm because you're a mom trying to live your life and you want time with your child and not focus and looking at the narcissist. And that can become very overwhelming. So document strategically. I have a Get the Good Attorney guide because not every lawyer can handle cases like these, and you have to be strategic. There's a 20-question attorney interview worksheet included. I have a free blog. Remember to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And you can learn, heal, and outgrow the narcissist. So keep being a great mom. Look for this Sur-Thrive strategy program coming up with all of the different strategies explained in detail, and take notes. Bring your notepad and maybe you start adopting some of these and hopefully they'll help. I have a podcast. If you're listening on podcast, thank you for listening. Plenty other podcasts to listen to where I give you tidbits of wisdom, encouragement, and some of the things that worked for me. I have a free Substack newsletter where I give you some of these tidbits by email. And I'm happy to share what we've come through. And this is my disclaimer. If you want to pause and read this, this isn't direct advice. I guess I would be advising you to use strategies, but everyone has coping strategies that they're using. Children are making them to survive. We're making them to survive. We're creating them in the situation we're in, and you may have to create your own strategies. So you might hear one of mine and adopt it into your own. So you can learn, heal, outgrow that narcissist. Just remember that getting help is a sign of strength, not weakness. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the Sur-Thrive strategy program where you can watch these short videos and really gain some of your power back. I do have a video if you want to look back. It's a 3S strategy of getting the support, holding your sanity, and having the strategies to reduce stress. There is power in stepping back and into a self-education. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.